Welcome to Paley Front Row, part of the Paley at Home series presented by Citi.
Women have to overcome more obstacles to reach the top. It's made them fiercely determined and more innovative. Just because they can navigate the obstacles doesn't mean they should have to. Citi is committed to investing in opportunities for 10 million women globally by 2025.
Help me welcome to the stage with a big round of applause, Dr. Jimmy Palmer, Brian Dietzen. Hey, Brian. She plays Casey Hines. Welcome, Diana Resnover. Oh, she cute, y'all, in black and white. Please welcome to the stage, he's the boss, Leon Vance, Mr. Rocky Carroll. He's the new kid on the block, and we love him already. He plays Alden Parker, Mr. Gary Cole. And please welcome to the stage, Nicholas Nick Torres, Wilmer Valderrama. She plays Jessica Knight, but her government name is Katrina Law. Please, come on out, Katrina. So good. And he plays Timothy McGee, but we're gonna call him Sean Murray today. Come on out, Sean. And also, last but certainly not least, please welcome to the stage executive producer, Stephen Binder. NCIS.
Yes.
Okay. Have a seat, everybody.
Okay, look, you get me, I'm gonna get you, okay?
What?
Hold on.
What is Brian doing?
Being a dad.
He's taking a picture of people.
I'm being a dad.
He's taking, it's a meta moment.
Dad. Okay. Anybody who puts a pic, I'm gonna take a picture of you too, okay. All right.
Welcome back to Paley Fest, you guys.
Well, thank you.
Welcome, it's been too long. We're so glad you're here. Stephen, I'm gonna start with you.
Great.
You know, listen, we gotta start here. I know you know where we're going. I see people behind their masks mouthing, what is going on with Gibbs? Is he ever going to come back?
Well, you know, when Gibbs, we left him in Alaska, I put out a statement which had the benefit of actually being true, which was never count Leroy Jethro Gibbs out.
There you go.
And I think he could take that to the bank. But these things are, you know, he needs to, if we're going to see him again, I think there needs to be a story worth bringing him back from a very perfect place I think we left him in, happy. And it was nice to see him happy. So if we're gonna pop that bubble, I think it needs to be for the right reasons.
Okay, Wilmer, I'm gonna come to you. Because Torres, see the troublemaking section, still over here. Torres, we know, is tough. But Torres has issues.
Well.
I'm just saying, we're getting to the meat of the Torres has issues. He's got secrets, he's got demons. Like, let him out. What have we learned about his character over the seasons? And what do you think makes Torres tick?
I mean, we learned a lot. First of all, so grateful for all the fans here. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you know, this franchise has been proven that they have the great collaboration between you and us. We think about storylines, we think about what you guys want to see. But when I come full circle to your question, I think I've been very blessed to have the greatest collaboration with our writers and our showrunners and really think about how do we keep this character human, ever evolving, also paying tribute to the real men and women who do this. So, you know, he started out as a lone wolf. Then he gave in to this squadron mentality and became part of this family. And then he had a couple of low blows. You know, his father abandoned him, and then, you know, Bishop decides to make a different choice, and then Gibbs leaves, and that did a number on him. It really brought back too many things that, that really fracture him at some point. So when we think, full circle on where is he gonna go next, he's considering, do I go lone wolf again? This hurts so much to be, part of a family if I'm gonna get hurt again. And I think that's where he's at. He's doing the work, like all of us should, right? And I think you're gonna see hopefully a road to peace, but there may be some pretty traumatic moments before we actually get to see a peaceful Torres. He definitely has an interesting and rocky road ahead of him.
I actually really loved that scene with you and Sean where, it was when you were looking for Gibbs and you were hurt and you just screamed and he's like, why are you yelling? And you're like, because it feels good. Like you you just had to get it out. I loved that scene so much. Sean, I'm gonna come to you, speaking of you. You and Rocky have been on the show the longest.
I guess so.
He says, "Is that true?" Yes, that is absolutely true.
It's Brian, and I think it's Brian Dietzen, and I'm.
Oh, Brian's been on.
That's right.
Yeah.
I finished third in that race. Yes.
Oh, okay. So Brian and Sean have been on the show. Okay, all right. Well, we'll get to you. We'll get to you. What are some of your fondest memories on this? Or can you even begin?
You're talking about 19 years of memories. It's not just memories of filming. It's memories of me creating my family and my personal life, during this show. So it's so much of my life has been wrapped up in NCIS, and I'm so grateful. It's just, to really, I can't sit down and just kind of go down memory lane and give you a couple more. It's too much. It's too much.
A standout episode. I know that's hard to do too, but is there one that sits in your heart?
An episode that I liked quite a bit and was proud of was the Proby episode, which I believe early season 2. Yeah, where we got to see an agent in the field the first time he takes somebody's life, and I like, we explored that heavily, and I think it was a really tremendous episode.
Yeah, really good. Rocky, I am gonna come to you because backstage when we were getting ready to come out, you were watching the clip package, you were like, ooh, I directed that episode. Ooh, And I know that you have been doing a lot more of that. We were just talking about it a couple weeks ago over at ET. Just talk about how the show has evolved in your eyes, and also now when you step behind the camera, like what you see.
Well, I think, and the audiences can attest to this too. What's beautiful about and Wilmer was talking about this too, the relationship between this show and the people who've been following this show since day one. I always say it's a real parallel to real life. Anybody that you've been in a relationship with for 19 years, things change. You don't look, you don't feel, you don't think the same way you did 19 years ago. And I think what's so beautiful about the relationship the audiences have, at first, I was the new kid on the block 16 seasons ago. But as in real life, if you love somebody and you're in a relationship, all those evolutions, all the things that change, the things that, the only constant in life really is change. And I think what this show has done so well is, maintain that appeal to the audiences have. Even though there may be new faces, new relationships, new dynamics, the audiences say, hey, we've been with you since day one. We're with you, through the thick and thin of it. They see the characters evolve. Our relationships, these characters, the relationships are much different than they were in season 3 or season 4. And that's a great thing. So we've been allowed to grow as a team and as a show, and the audience has accepted it and it's grown with us. And that's the thing that I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And seeing it on both sides, being behind the camera, which still blows my mind that I get to see it from both perspectives.
Yeah, I'm blown away as a viewer. It's like, how are they gonna top this one? Oh my God, where do they still keep coming up with new episodes? Brian's like, I don't know.
Not really.
Well, it's interesting though, because Rocky, you make a good point, and you say, relationships change and things get different, and we've been in this relationship with NCIS for 20 seasons, and I think it's because we don't fall in love with the show, we just love it. It's just it, so we can't fall out of love with it because it's just ingrained in us, right? You can't fall in and out of love with it. It just is. It just is. It's just part of who we are. I want to come to Diana and Brian because I love how we get to really explore. Brian's just looking like, yes. We get to explore, the STEM enthusiasts in you guys. And you make it look like so much fun when I'm sitting there like, I don't know what they're talking about. But it looks like that's a job that I really would love when I really would be the biggest dunce. What does it mean to you to be a role model in this way, to make STEM, for lack of a better word, to make it cool to the audiences?
It's interesting. When I first started this show, I was obviously playing assistant to Dr. Donald Mallard, played by David McCallum. He's the legend. Hi, Steve. And we went down to the LA County morgue down on Mission Street, and we went in and we sat in on some autopsies and did our research and that sort of stuff. And I'll never forget, Craig Harvey, one of the LA County coroners, said, years ago, this was a place where people would come if they had a failed surgery career and they were kind of at the end of their tenure, or they had an injury or something. And he said, but because of shows like yours, he said, now I have a stack of resumes on my desk from kids coming from med school saying they want to be medical examiners. He said, cool. It used to be someone come in and say, I really want to, do autopsies. He's like, that would go in the circular file immediately. And he goes, but now people see this as a viable way to help families who are grieving, to help solve crimes, and to be like a really valued member of law enforcement, which I'm sure is the same for forensic capability as well.
Yeah, I think one of the things that amazed me the most about being on the show is just seeing the impact that you can have relatively quickly. For my first full year on the show, I got a DM, which I almost never read, but I got a DM on Instagram from somebody, and it was a picture of their daughter. It was an African-American little girl, and she was dressed up in a lab coat. And I was like, oh. And they said, my daughter wants to be a scientist now. She's watched you. Oh. And I can't tell you how that feels, how it feels to feel like you're actually showing someone some of the amazing things they can be. I feel really grateful to be in a position.
And you also have a podcast that is for, girls who are interested in STEM.
Yes, I do. It is called Periodic Talks. It is me and Gillian Jacobs, if you've ever seen Community or Love.
Yes,
Britta. And we get to talk to scientists, and we get to ask all the questions that we have no idea what we're talking about when it comes to science.
It's so good.
It's really
Just
fun.
Listen to it. It's really, really good.
Listen to this man. He knows what he's talking about.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's good. I got you.
And also, we know that Diana's DMs are open, everybody. So, I'm just saying, you said somebody slid into the DMs and said you read it.
DMs are welcome. Yes.
Only on Tuesdays, guys. Only on Tuesdays, I check.
Katrina and Gary, I want to come to you guys because you guys are like the newbies. You're the newest members of the team. So what was it like for both of you coming into a show that's such an institution, right? Such an established hit. What was that like, and was there any hazing? Did anybody have to bring the donuts or anything?
I don't remember hazing unless I was in a blackout, but but I don't think so. It's been the theme here running. You can't really undercut the fact of how long the show has been on, and I think that's significant in a lot of ways. And but I take my hat off to the writers because I remember there was I don't know what episode it was. It was one of the early ones that I was in, 2, 3, or 4. I can't remember which one it was, but they created a moment that was not only really for a moment in the squad room, but it was kind of connects to what Rocky was talking about. Is that the viewers have a relationship with this show, which means they have a relationship with the characters, which means when it goes this long, they count on them in some way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember saying that I had kind of a speech after I was, gathering everybody to go investigate something. I said, look, I know this is weird. I know I'm a new guy. And I know I'm not Gibbs. But we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a nice way to kind of not only talk to the characters, but to send a signal to the audience. That
absolutely.
You're in on this. You're in on this room. You're in on these relationships, and we know that. And I think that's, I think it's significant.
And we got you, to the audience. We got y'all. That's what he's saying. We got y'all. Katrina, what about you?
Well, first of all, I want to say hi to my daughter, Kinley.
We heard her. Say hi, Mommy.
Hi, Kinley.
Hi, Kinley.
Where's she?
Kinley. Hi, baby. Well, I Hi.
Was that her that we heard? Yeah. She's so cute. I thought I heard a hi, there's Mommy.
Hi, baby. So joining NCIS season 19, I had no idea when I joined on that this was going to be the dream job.
Yeah.
First of all, I cannot stress how much I love this cast and the showrunner, the writers, everybody who is here wants to be here. And that is so hard to come by in a show where everybody is happy, they are thankful, they are grateful, they come into work with a smile on their face. And when you work together 10 months out of the year, 5 days a week, for sometimes 13, 14 hours a day, it makes a huge difference. And I think that translates onto camera and why the audience has followed this show for 20 years. That being said, it's daunting and humbling and very nerve-wracking to come onto a show in season 19, especially because people have grown up with this show.
Yeah.
So you are literally entering somebody's family. And to know that the audience has been very open and welcoming to Gary and I has just been a blessing. I love what they do with my character. I love that I'm following strong women like Ziva and Emily, and yet, I know, hashtag Tiva. But I love that they're not trying to make Jessica Knight the third reincarnation of the same woman, or in Kate, actually, the fourth reincarnation. They have made my character her own. They've given her a quirky sense of humor that stands out from the other characters, yet she is still at the top of her game, a fierce badass, and still able to hang with the boys. But the coolest part about joining the show was my dad is a lifelong NCIS fan, and when I joined the show, he wasn't geeked out that I joined the show. He was geeked out that I got to hang out with Mark Harmon.
I love it. I love it. And what do you think of what they're doing with Jessica? How do you feel about what they're doing with the character, and what do you see for her?
I love this. Jessica Knight is my favorite character to play so far. The relationship that she's built in the bullpen between these three gentlemen is so much fun, and doing those opening scenes of every episode is a lot of fun, and trying to see what shenanigans we're getting into and what dynamics the writers are bringing is a lot of fun. I had an episode where Rocky directed, and just breaking down this character and diving deeper, and we had a wonderful conversation with some real NSA and NCIS agents. And our tech advisor, Leon Carroll, really coordinated that all together. The stuff that we came up with was amazing. So I don't know that I want to have any input on where she goes, because I love what they're doing with her so far, and I'm kind of interested just to see where they take her.
You're just ready for the ride.
I'm ready for the ride. Let's go.
So we just got to see the big crossover event. I was just talking to the NCIS Hawaii folks about it, and I thought that was so fun to see. I loved it. What did you think of it? Women, what did you think of it? And I will ask you, Brian, because I said before, can we get all three universes together? Like, we need to do it again. How do we weave that in and make that work?
It's all up to you, Steve.
That's right. It's all on you.
He just started sweating.
I think we're going to make it work.
Okay.
I think we're going to make it work.
Okay. See, there you go. You have it.
I don't know how.
It has to happen.
But
it's got to happen. Well, here's an idea. There's about to be an international NCIS Sydney. Yes, NCIS. So why don't we do it that way? Why don't we just have everybody go there and do something there?
All right, yeah.
So you are not flying to Sydney. None of you.
Steve, hear me out.
None of you. That's a week and the plane. No way.
Did you ever remember the end of Endgame Avengers? Like, I mean, if you had all of us coming through portals at the same time, and they just said, NCIS, assemble. All right, we're gonna fight over who gets to say that line. But I mean, it's viable. It's viable.
All right, you know what? Well,
You gotta
cage
have
match.
good
One of you
fans.
can
When you
go.
assemble, what do you got?
What do you? Oh my gosh, yeah. Grab your gear and then.
Wilmer, you got to dabble already, so I mean, what do you see? How do you think all three could blend?
Well, I think that there is a world in where we could continue to work on this tone that eventually can find itself in the same ground, right? I think that what's been special about every NCIS that's been incarnated somehow and have spun off what this incredible cast has started 19 years ago is the fact that each one of them is a little different than the other, and you're not necessarily watching the same show. And I think that that's very special to say about every show. Every show has their own tone, you know? The tricky part is to have us all playing the same ground, right? So if we're gonna go to technicality, right? But you guys are super fans, so you know that as the evolution of NCIS and NCIS the franchise continues to thrive and take life, we're finding ourselves closer and closer in tone. So I think it's very possible in where we will have some kind of national high level of security, and that at some point will bring us together. We have a Monday night. I think it'll be fun to to add that to the. I love the NCIS Los Angeles cast. They're great friends of mine for a long time.
Yeah. I like Brian's idea, like an NCIS Endgame, like the Avengers. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? One person's in trouble, you look up, and then here comes like Torres through the thing, and here it comes, and it's all, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that could happen.
It doesn't have to make sense.
No.
As long as we have fun.
But it is. But there is a world. There is. I mean, would you guys want to see that?
Yeah.
I mean.
He's like,
look,
oh gosh.
This is gonna
have it right now.
I was gonna say, write it down.
Be
Steve.
very complicated.
It doesn't
We've
have to make
we've
sense.
got it right here on this stage today, so it can happen because it's happening right here on this Sunday. John, I want to come back to you because I'm just thinking, do you ever like sit back and think about, I am on a show that has changed the landscape of television in a lot of ways, and like really has its place in the zeitgeist now.
Being on the inside of it, the perspective is obviously, kind of different, but I have nothing but respect for NCIS and its world. And what was the original question?
Like, do you have that pinch me moment? Like, shoot, I really...
Absolutely, no. I mean, when I'm standing out there and, they're interviewing you and they're saying, you've been on this 19 years, it's a dream, and it's a dream job, and I get to play with my friends here, and we as much fun as we have, we work our butts off, man. And I love these guys, and I'm a happy gentleman here. I'm a very happy guy, and we get amazing food, incredible food.
Oh, craft services.
For free.
Stuff.
For free.
It's for free.
It really is about
on the free. I mean, how many more seasons can we go?
I think when a show first starts, you're wondering, okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And then by season 5, you're like, okay, I think we know what we're doing. And then by season 10, you're like, what are we going to do now? And then season 20, wait, what?
Wait a minute. Say what now?
What? But one of the things that has revitalized the show is having new characters on the show. I think you guys know the cases are. They're fun and they're twisty and they're in cool worlds and there's surprises and things, and on one level you don't care about any of that. It's these people who you care about, and we have new people, and I think that right out the gate gives us another 3, 4, 5 years at the way we've been doing things. So I think the show can go.
Let's go 25 then.
Yeah,
Come on.
I think it can go.
Come on.
We've proven yet again that we can that these guys are replaceable.
Yeah.
Basically, we just get new people. No,
Duly noted. Duly noted.
Unbelievably lucky in the people on this stage that we've been able to get. That is the key to this show. If you can keep, to answer your question, if we can keep keep these people for as long as we can keep them. And then if we can get as lucky as we've been in the past in the future, I think the show can keep going.
Well, we are here for the fans. So Wilmer, I'm going to come back to you. The wildest fan encounter that you've had in the Nick realm.
I mean, it's a combination, right? I think there's a couple. You're saying the wildest encounter?
Yeah.
Okay, so my fans are a little passionate. I get a lot of inappropriate stuff on Instagram. I would say there's a couple of things. I think there's been 2 encounters that really come to mind, right? The first one is, when I see a younger generation seeing, specifically my culture, seeing themselves wearing that badge. Something that we should be very proud that there's individuals out there that decide that they're going to sacrifice, so much to wear a badge in the name of, their community and everywhere else that they can stand for. So I've had individuals come up to me and say, I never thought, I would see myself in a character like that, And, Diana said it beautifully. There's something magical that happens when people see themselves in these characters. The other one is when you hear somebody, your journey gives me hope as a character, because there's a level of personal journey that happens in the eyes of the public when you see these characters go through really human and life-changing things and seeing them make it through. There's something that magical that happens. It connects you with that, mutually between your fan and the character. They find home and they find a direction, and somehow that is the example in which we thrive. So we build characters that, as you know, my character is very broken, but we build characters that are relatable in that their journeys somehow may relate to yours, and we try to take these characters to places in which it gives you hope that you can also make it through. Specifically with my character, I think that the one that made me feel very happy, and that I felt in my entire career is young, Latin, people that come up and say, "I've never saw myself in television that way." And I think that's something really, really something that I'm incredibly proud of.
Yeah.
And you know that we've been fighting for that for a long time. And, and then coming full circle to the opportunity to be alive in the universe of NCIS, a show that's like, no less passionate than a Star Trek show.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, it's to be immortalized in a franchise like this is beautiful. So it's hard to give you the craziest because
I must be
very
broken
inappropriate.
because I ride. I must be broken because I ride for Nick. Like I ride for Nick.
Yeah.
So I must be broken over here too because I get it. Brian, I'm going to ask you the same question because you've been on, for such a long time. What's the wildest thing?
Someone wanted a throw pillow stuffed with Mark Harmon's chest hair.
I believe it.
It was Steve Binder.
Does he have enough that you can cut it off? And make it
I don't know. He was asleep.
That's the key.
Someone jokingly asked me that, and I was like, "Is that a joke? You're a weird person. I'm going this way."
How much do you think they would pay for that?
Oh man. Well, on eBay right now.
The bid is at.
No, honestly, I've been really, really fortunate that I've not had any. I think this probably goes for most of us here. No one's really had any like weird, bad fan experiences so much as people coming up and being like very passionate.
Yourself, okay?
I haven't had anyone come up to me yet to say, "Hey, your show sucks." It's like if they don't watch it, they don't watch it. But I mean, our fans have been. I mean, you guys right here are the reason we're on for 19 years.
Yes.
Now that we have a 20th, and so every time I meet someone who says, "Oh, I watched your show," or I used to watch your show, or now I just started, I just say thank you so much. And people are very passionate about it, and the fact that they're still passionate 19 years in, we just got to keep telling good stories so they can continue to do it.
And you will, because season 20 is on deck. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys being here today. And I know I speak for the fans when we say thank you, thank you, thank you for all these years. Thank you for what's to come. You guys, say one more big round of applause for NCIS.